Centuries ago, the birth of a royal child could alter the destiny of an entire kingdom. Every heir was carefully raised, prepared from the cradle for power, war, politics, and diplomacy. A prince or princess was not simply a child, they were a living symbol of the dynasty's strength and divine favor. But what happened when that child was different? What if the royal baby could not speak clearly, struggled to walk, or showed signs of learning difficulties? To the world of kings and queens, this was not only a private family challenge, it was a scandal that could shake a throne. Throughout history, countless royal children born with disabilities were hidden away, erased from records, or in some cases even declared dead while still alive. Their presence clashed with the image of perfection monarchies depended upon. What you are about to hear is the forgotten story of royal children born with Down syndrome, a condition feared, misunderstood, and often silenced for centuries. This is also the story of how their families treated them in order to preserve reputation at all costs.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition caused by an extra chromosome. Most people are born with 46 chromosomes, but those with Down syndrome have 47, with an extra copy of chromosome 21. This tiny variation changes how their body and mind develop. It influences physical appearance, learning ability, and health. People with Down syndrome often share recognizable traits: almond-shaped eyes, a flatter face, a smaller nose and ears, and sometimes a single crease running across the palm. They may also face medical challenges, such as heart problems, thyroid issues, and developmental delays. Today, we understand that individuals with Down syndrome can live long, meaningful lives. They attend school, work, form relationships, and contribute to society in countless ways. But centuries ago, before genetics and modern medicine, these differences were met with fear. Many believed such children were cursed, a punishment from God, or evidence of weak bloodlines. And in royal families, where every child was expected to embody strength, beauty, and perfection, a child with Down syndrome was often seen as an unbearable shame.
One of the most disturbing modern examples comes from the British royal family itself. Nerissa Bowes-Lyon was born in 1919 and her younger sister Catherine in 1926. They were the daughters of John Bowes-Lyon, the brother of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, making them first cousins of Queen Elizabeth II. From early childhood, it became clear that Nerissa and Catherine had severe intellectual disabilities. Historians believe one or both may have had Down syndrome or a closely related condition. Instead of being raised within the royal household, the sisters were placed in the Royal Earlswood Institution in Surrey, a long-term hospital for people with learning disabilities. What makes their story even more shocking is what happened next. Once admitted, the sisters were erased from family records. Official genealogies falsely reported them as deceased, even though they were very much alive. This lie allowed the royal family to maintain the illusion of perfect bloodlines. Nerissa remained at Earlswood until her death in 1986. Catherine lived there almost her entire life, passing away in 2014. For decades, the sisters were rarely, if ever, visited by relatives. The truth about them only came to light in the 1980s, when journalists uncovered their existence. The outrage caused a storm of outrage. It revealed that even in the modern 20th century, royal families still chose to erase relatives with disabilities rather than support them openly. For the monarchy, the fear of scandal outweighed compassion.
Across Europe, a similar story unfolded. Princess Alexandrine of Prussia was born in 1915, the daughter of Crown Prince Wilhelm of Germany. She, too, was diagnosed with Down syndrome, though at the time the term was barely known. Unlike the Bowes-Lyon sisters, Alexandrine was not placed in an institution. Her parents chose to keep her at home. Occasionally, she was seen in family photographs and even on commemorative postcards. This was unusual for the time and suggested a more accepting attitude within her immediate family. But despite this, Alexandrine was still excluded from royal duties. She was largely kept away from the public eye and was never considered part of the monarchy's official image. She attended a special school and lived quietly, shielded from the pressure and expectations of royal life. She survived well into adulthood, passing away in 1980. Alexandrine's story shows that royal families could love and care for a disabled child, but only in private. In the public sphere, these children were invisible.
This culture of secrecy was not limited to kings and queens. Even prominent political families shared the same fears. Anne de Gaulle, born in 1928, was the youngest daughter of Charles de Gaulle, who would later become President of France. Anne was born with Down syndrome. Unlike many parents of the time, Charles and his wife Yvonne did not send her away. They raised Anne at home, and she became the center of her father's affection. Charles de Gaulle was known for his stern, distant demeanor with most people, but with Anne he was tender, playful, and deeply attached. Still, the public rarely saw her. Her condition was not discussed openly, and she was largely kept away from official life. Tragically, Anne died of pneumonia at just 20 years old. Her death devastated her family. In her memory, Yvonne de Gaulle later founded a hospital for children with disabilities, an act of compassion inspired by her daughter's short life. Anne's story shows another side. Even when love was present, social stigma ensured that children with Down syndrome remained hidden.
These are just a few examples from the 20th century, but they likely represent only a fraction of the truth. In medieval and early modern times, the situation was often far worse. Children with visible differences or disabilities were seen as omens or curses. Some were abandoned, raised in remote estates, or given to monasteries and convents where they spent their lives in obscurity. In royal households obsessed with appearances, even rumors of an imperfect heir could threaten the dynasty's legitimacy. Many historians suspect that some infants born with severe disabilities were quietly killed shortly after birth, though hard evidence is rare because such actions were deliberately hidden. This secrecy was not unique to any one royal family. It was a widespread pattern across Europe and beyond. Monarchies relied on myth, image, and the illusion of divine favor as much as political power. To admit weakness in the bloodline was considered unthinkable. The result was centuries of silence. Countless royal children were denied love, dignity, and recognition simply because they did not fit the image of perfection demanded by their families and their subjects.
The world has changed dramatically. Today, people with Down syndrome are visible members of society. They attend school, pursue higher education, take part in sports, act, teach, run businesses, and form families of their own. They are valued, respected, and openly celebrated. But this progress is recent. Only a few generations ago, children like Nerissa and Catherine Bowes-Lyon, Princess Alexandrine, and Anne de Gaulle were hidden away. Their existence was concealed to protect the image of powerful families. They were denied the opportunities, love, and public acceptance given to their siblings.
By remembering them now, we give back some of what was taken from them. We restore their dignity. We bring their lives out of the shadows and into the light, where they always belonged.
History often records the triumphs of kings and queens, but some of its greatest injustices are the stories it tried to bury. The forgotten children with Down syndrome remind us how fear of scandal can be stronger than love, and how secrecy can erase entire lives. Their stories challenge us even today. They remind us that no family, no matter how powerful, is immune to the temptation of shame and silence. They also remind us how fragile progress is, and how quickly compassion can be lost when image becomes more important than humanity. By telling their stories now, we honor their memory. We ensure they are no longer invisible. And perhaps in doing so, we move closer to a world where every child, royal or not, is accepted, valued, and remembered. Because every child, no matter their ability, deserves dignity, love, and the chance to have their story told.